Hi, I'm Reanne Meyer with the Boom Real Estate Group, brokered by American Way. I'm here with another episode of Ask the Experts. I'm at GSM. All right, I'm sitting down here in New Ulm at GSM with Dan, who deals with the residential HVAC department, and Steve, who deals with the commercial, and Chris, who is with the HVAC supplier department. And we are going to talk about all things HVAC in this series of the one-on-one with the experts. And so to start off, what is something that homeowners can expect as an HVAC company? Like, what do you guys do?
Sure. We do many things. We install furnaces, air conditioners, air purifiers, humidifiers. We do anything that deals with the air inside your home. We can take care of it for you.
And anything with like the supplying?
Well, yeah, we do all of that as well. I think Dan sold them a little bit short. They do boilers, they do, hydronics, just water and air. But essentially, Gag Sheet Metal on the HVAC side is into heating and cooling the spaces in your home with water or air, and then commercially as well. To steal your thunder, Steve.
That's great. Yeah, pretty much anything from a nice house to an apartment building, schools, etc.
So this next question will really be for Steve and Dan Gag here. You guys have been around for a while and been in New Ulm. What kind of keeps you in the New Ulm in southern Minnesota, and how long have you guys been around?
Our great-grandfather, George Gag, who's pictured in the mural behind us, started in 1904. And actually a story with that, a local band needed a trumpet player, so he moved from Gibbon to New Ulm and became a sheet metal man. And so, but anyway, so the history, we really enjoy being part of the small town and getting to know our customers. And that keeps everybody trying to do their best every day, because our good quality does spread, and so people hear about it.
Well, with spring right around the corner and everyone wanting to turn on their ACs, what is one thing that you recommend that everybody does before turning on their AC?
So I would recommend that everybody do a spring check-in clean on their air conditioner. We can send a technician out to make sure that the coil is clean and that the charge is correct, and make sure everything's in tip-top shape and ready for the cooling season.
And with that, a clean air filter immediately. Soon as before you turn on your air conditioner, replace that air filter. It's going to help more than anything else. And then, make sure it's working.
And kind of to follow back on that, is there anything you should do in the winter time? Kind of like you would do with your AC? Is there anything you need to do with your furnace in the winter, or anything you need to do?
It's same thing, but with your furnace. We have technicians that will come out and do a fall check and clean on a furnace. Again, change your air filter. That's going to be a common theme, I would say, is make sure that filter's clean.
And then make sure your vents are open, whether it's going through the roof or through the sidewall. Just make sure that there haven't been any critters that made a home.
That's good. Yeah. What is one big mistake that homeowners might make that is something that's a small maintenance tip, but could cost them a long mistake, like a big mistake that might break their furnace?
I would say, not to take the God Boys thunder, but I would say not having routine annual maintenance, as these guys just described. I think, there's a third party out there that describes, the life expectancy of a furnace and why your furnace lasts longer than someone else's does. And there's sort of three factors, and 54% of it is on the beginning at the installation phase, right? Installation, startup, setup, making sure it's put in on that first day you put it in perfectly, right? And I know that that's something that they have a big checkout sheet. They do all the stuff right on that. So that's like 54% of it. Then what they do is they pass the baton to the homeowner, right? Which we're talking about. And the rest of that, not the rest, but all but 6% to the homeowner is routine annual maintenance, cleaning your filters, making sure those things are cleared and checked, and you're good. And then the last 6% and only 6% of it is brand. Okay, so brand X versus brand Y. Gag has chosen to partner with my company, Our Steel, on the Bryant brand for They didn't say this, but I think in our 4-state territory, they're the oldest or second oldest Bryant dealer that we have. So they are legitimately here from ground zero. But I think they partner with us. Bryant is a powerful brand and well known in those things, but it's really because of the training and some of the stuff, the extra stuff that we did. We were in here this morning giving technical exams to the GOG team, and for the record, 7 guys took these really hard exams, and all 7 guys passed them independently in like separate rooms. They didn't cheat. They did an awesome job, and it's because of the training and those kind of things that's why I think we partner. And it's not because we sell the same different brand that's so much better than everyone else's. It's really because of homeowners need to have a really good installation, startup, and setup, and then do that maintenance as they talked about to keep their furnace lasting as long as humanly possible. So those are the 3 things that they say nationwide.
Yeah, so as a home buyer that's maybe looking at a home, or somebody who owns a home who's running their furnace or AC and it's not broken, you're just wanting to maybe check for something, maybe as a sign that it might be breaking soon, what is something that you can kind of look for? Is there something like, as a homeowner, maybe higher utilities, or as a buyer, is there noises? Or, I'm just trying to think of something besides saying, yep, it's broken, it's not working, it's not turning on, it's done. What is maybe kind of some early signs of something?
I'll jump in quick and I'll let these guys expand on it, but there is technology out there now where there are some furnaces are going to have fault codes. They're going to trip. They're not going to work perfectly every single time, right? They'll eventually start and it's fine. They just have some algorithms internally with their parts and pieces that make it so they might not start every time exactly. Well, those codes, get sent up into the cloud, and this is smarter than me, and then it falls back to these guys where they can check those codes out in what's called a portal, and they can go and kind of almost like see, Mrs. Jones on Elm Street, her furnace has had a couple, fault codes, right? Pressure switch isn't, not to get too technical, but a pressure switch code. Okay, we'll monitor that. We'll have an idea next time it's on the ticket when we go back out to clean her furnace this fall. Let's make sure that pressure switch is really in good shape. And if not, we can swap it out under warranty, so on and so forth. She might not even know. Hopefully these guys take the credit for it, but these guys tend to not take the credit for things that they do. They're just nice guys, but hopefully they take the credit for it. But at the same time, then now we know that furnace can go forward and keep moving and last a long time. And they can just, do that, kind of know before they go out on the service call. They know what might be wrong. So that's kind of the technology that's in a lot of furnaces. It's not just in ours, but that's something that's new and homeowners will start to see too, is, we can maybe monitor what's going on from them for sure.
I think most homeowners will notice when something's just different, whether it's a different noise or it seems like the furnace or air conditioner is just turning on and off more often than usual. And that's realistically a good way to tell it there might be something wrong, whether it's a dirty air filter or something low in charge, or something blocked so it just can't move the heat the way it should. And so homeowners can usually just get a sense, and it's just because you're hearing something they're not used to. And so that's when they call, and they're usually right. There is something different. And so that worked pretty well too.
So what is the wildest or weirdest thing you have seen when cleaning out somebody's HVAC?
I don't know about wild, but there's a lot of toys. A lot of toys go down the ductwork for families.
So before I went on the distribution side, I was on the contractor side as well, and we found a snake den right outside somebody's furnace, and nowhere near New Ulm, but we did find it, and I'm definitely afraid of snakes. That was for sure a story that I don't ever need to see again. That was
I
had to take one live bat out of an inducer housing once. That was not fun, but a live bat.
I do see a lot of bats in attics when I'm checking out equipment. That's a common thing, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're the realtor. You're in houses every day. You do
Well,
that.
snakes. Yep. I'm right back out.
Yep.
I'm in Minnesota. I'm
Yep.
not down south. So what is a myth that maybe homeowners are doing that you see today that you don't need to be doing?
I think covering the outside unit, unless you have a risk of something from the roof falling on it, like ice or a big snow dam, it's generally not needed to cover your outdoor unit because they are meant for Minnesota. And so some people still like to keep a little dirt out in the winter, but it's not something we generally recommend.
You want me to go? The one I would say is the super hypoallergenic pleated filters. They work. They're great, right? I'm not saying that they don't take out a lot of the mold, spores, pollen, all the things, and do a really good job. But they tend to be really restrictive and really tough on your blower motor in your furnace, and it tends to make it really hard on the furnace. It's running its RPMs way high, and you see some burnouts. And if that homeowner is not super diligent on changing out that filter every month, every 3, whatever the number is, right? And it changes house to house. It's not something that we could probably say exact. If you're not diligently changing that big, thick, pleated, MERV 14, 15 filter that's got hypoallergenic, all the things in it, it's eventually going to get your blower motor. And there's nothing these guys can do about it. It's just how it's going to happen. So.
That's a good example.
Thanks, Dan.
So if somebody was on a limited budget and trying to sell their home and trying to figure out if they needed to purchase a new furnace or AC, what would you recommend? At what point would you recommend replacing it, or is there something else you would recommend, or how do you guys go about figuring that out?
We usually look at what's the estimated cost to fix versus what's the cost to put in just a basic equipment. And then sometimes it's a good idea just to put if you want to say, an allotment in the sale so the next homeowner can make that decision. Because if you know it's a faulty piece of equipment, and some people want the basics and some want, some of the higher efficiencies or bells and whistles, that's kind of a nice way to go.
So if you had one piece of advice for people here in southern Minnesota and around New Ulm, what would that be?
Well, I'm going to go back to change your furnace filter. People tend to forget about it. You get busy and you don't pay attention to the last time your furnace filter's been changed. Both in the heating and the cooling season, you definitely want to change that furnace filter to keep your equipment running well.
I would agree. Surprising amount of energy is lost with dirty air filters, and people don't realize it. So.
And like Chris was saying, it doesn't have to be that fancy filter. Those can cause as many problems as they cure. Just go with a cheap filter and change it off, and is my recommendation.
Yeah, and if I would piggyback, those are great answers. Those are the right first answer. The second one to me would just be having routine annual maintenance on your equipment. It's not going to break the bank to have that stuff clean. You will see some savings in operational costs if your motors are clean, if you're, those things, your condenser fan motor outside, your blower motors inside, you'll see some operational savings. It's not hundreds or thousands of dollars, but it might be $20 to $25 a month, or, depending on how dirty it was, those kind of things. And then I would also say, my recommendation always is to run your fan continuously. When you're in a, I just think you're circulating that air, you're getting it, treated. If you've got some sort of an indoor air quality product in there, whether that's an air cleaner or a UV light or, humidifiers, all the things, if you're running your fan continuously, that air is constantly being cleaned or humidified or whatever. If you turn your fan off, that stuff, it's not doing you any good, right? So, and I think with, the newer furnaces that these guys are selling that are out there, they've been out there, they changed the law 4 or 5 years ago. We have to use a separate blower motor. It's called a variable speed motor. So we have to run it cheaper. It's less expensive to the homeowners to run. It's not a ton of money to run, to run your motor, your fan continuously. You will see some savings, and then you'll get better treated, better ventilated air. That would be the other one I would have for you guys.
So I see all the time where some people are saying, like, the older stuff is working better and it's working, don't fix it. And then some people are saying, all right, it's new, but it's not working great. So you have home inspectors all the time Obviously, they're just home inspectors who are saying it's this many years old. It's working when I turn it on. Evaluate for further. Would you guys recommend reaching out to you guys whenever you're getting a home inspection to be able to come and get it evaluated just to see if it's worth getting replaced, or, you know, like kind of the life expectancy? Is that something you guys would recommend?
You certainly could. We expect to get about 20 years out of a piece of equipment. That's the desired lifespan of a piece of equipment. And everything's getting more and more efficient. So if you're looking at a furnace or air conditioner from 20 years ago, efficiency ratings of this new stuff that we're installing today is so much more that you're going to see benefits, or you're going to recoup a lot of that cost over the lifespan of the greater efficiency. So putting in new equipment definitely does have cost savings.
So especially on the air conditioning side.
Right.
I mean, newer air conditioners will cost you half as much in utilities compared to some older ones. Furnaces haven't been upgraded as much, except for the blower motors, in the last 25 years, but air conditioners have come a long way. And if you're rural, you know, looking at a heat pump for year-round savings is a really good idea too.
Yeah, especially in LP gas, like that heat pump will pay for itself,
Right.
in single-digit years for sure. And to answer my side of your question is, because these two are too nice to say it, yes, they should absolutely, after the home evaluation is done, they should have Dan out and say, hey, what do you think? Right? This equipment is X and so number of years old. You know, we're looking at, you know, selling, or we're looking at buying. You know, where do you fall on this? What, you know, shoot from the hip maybe, but give us an idea what you think this thing's got left in it. You know, and you can look at model and serial number and get an idea for, you know, that was Gen 1 of this furnace. It was really strong. You might have 10 years left. I wouldn't touch a thing. You might have 5 years left. I wouldn't touch a thing. But, you know, at least he could give you kind of a recommendation that, like, where.
When there are some furnaces we see and we can't believe it's still running because so old, or it was a just inferior model that we have replaced them all of other certain brands. And so
Not our brands.
of course not, but we, like you say, we can kind of eyeball it, and that's always free to do an estimate, and so it never hurts to get that opinion.
So if people wanted to reach out to you, what would be their best way? Is it online, making a phone call, or what would be the best way to make an appointment?
But right now, a phone call is probably the quickest. On our website, we do have online scheduling, and so you can request service call or a sales call through that, and then we'll generally call you back or email you, depending on what is your preferred contact method.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys.
You bet.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.